Welcome to the White Stick DFS Podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. I'm joined once again by my two basketball buddies. We got CashinDFS. You can find him on Twitter at CashinDFS with no G. Cash, what's up, bro? Chilling.
Money today.
What was that?
Good. I made a little money today. So NFL, DK, FanDuel check, NBA check, NASCAR check. Check all the boxes today.
Okay. It was a good Sunday for Cash.
I lost a lot of money in NASCAR the last few laps, though. Oh,
Ooh.
man. It sucked. But, hey, I still made money, so I can't complain. But, yeah, I lost a good amount of money on the last few laps. I'm playing bumper cars.
It was like the difference of like a good day and a great day? Is that the kind of money you lost?
I mean, I didn't play that much. I only played like $38.
Right.
But, yeah.
Well, you played everything, though. You played NFL, NBA, and NASCAR today, so it's like...
I mean, I was gonna go back to NASCAR today and just go all in NASCAR and damn the NFL. I'm tired of these NFL coaches. They all suck. they suck today too. They all suck. So, but qualifying was this morning, so I didn't have time. I needed qualifying to be on Saturday. They did it this morning, so I still went light. But yeah, damn the NFL. I'm tired of these coaches. I can't do it. How does Freeman not get the ball on the 1 yard line? Like, why do we not get Freeman the football?
Yeah, that was strange. That was definitely strange. Also joined by our boy TC, aka Terry Collins. You can find him on Twitter at Terry_Collins12. TC, what's up, bro?
Oh, not much. Watching the World Series. Had a decent day. I wouldn't even quite say it was a good day, just a decent day.
Decent day, man. You know, on there are some weeks where you're just grateful to get by in cash. Like there's some weeks where you're just grateful, especially in the NFL. This year has kind of been that way. I'm excited to do these NBA shows again. I enjoy the NBA product. So like I love football. It's just once a week, so it's like the process, and like it takes you all week to do your research, and you have all week to tinker back and forth, and then all for this one day, really. Like, yeah, you got the mini slates, but it's really all for this one day, and then it's over. And if you didn't win $1 million, then it's a disappointing weekend. So, like, that's the kind of the problem with the NFL, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have all this build up and build up and build up. And if you're not, even if you win money, if you're not a millionaire, you're not truly satisfied.
Yeah, because it's kind of like with me, like, when I build so many lineups for it, because NFL, I go way in on the amount of lineups, but like then you look back and you're like, man, Wednesday I was going to play this guy, and then Friday I talked myself out of it, and then he goes up like Juju. Yeah. Like I was going to play him all week, and then Sunday came and I'm like, oh no, like I'm going to get rid of him. Like that's just too volatile. And then he goes off. So, you know,
I had all the Juju. Love you, Juju.
Oh man, so it's fun, you know. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the NFL. It's just like having to wait all week, at least. But like, and then you have NBA, man. Like I've been I'm so glad NBA is here. It's just fun. Like even on days like, don't get me wrong, at the beginning of the season is always kind of rough. You're playing a guessing game, especially after we've had such a huge off season like we have in this season. Like there were some massive changes, so figuring out and seeing how everything changes is different. Like one thing we're seeing that Cash pointed out is like a guy like Gasol. Like the offense is clearly running through Gasol 100%. And while it's great for Gasol, Connolly has really, really taken a back seat. And he's so like we're learning, right? Like we're learning like, okay, so we got to play Gasol, we got to back off of this guy. The same thing situation today with the Nets basketball team, right? Like Crab got the start because this is the first time that DeMarre Carroll was out. So now what? Now we have to watch. DeMarre Carroll's on a new team. The Brooklyn Nets are a relatively new team as far as their playmakers, with D'Angelo Russell and not having Brolo anymore. So like everything that we used to know. Look at the Cavs. The Cavs cannot beat anybody. They can't blow out the worst teams in the league. They just lost to the Knicks at home. My New York Knicks, my beloved New York Knicks. Tim Hardaway Jr. That was about the only thing that I felt like maybe made a little bit of sense, because like over at the Nation, we've been talking about Hardaway, and like some of us got burnt in the first couple sessions, but then we realized he's got terrible matchups. He's not the guy you wanted. He's not matchup proof, right? Like if he has a decent defender guarding him, you don't want anything to do with Hardaway. But then today, sure enough, we were talking about it. Like, this has got to be the day, right? We were talking in the chat. We're like, this has got to be Tim Hardaway day, right? I mean, it's Cleveland, and how do you beat Cleveland? You beat them with 3-point shots. It's like, and sure enough, he went nuts, and it's on a Sunday. So most of the people who play, because a lot of people like to play during the week, right, when they get home from work, things like that. Yeah. So most of the people that were so focused on the NBA, on the NFL today, they missed out on Tim Hardaway Jr. Day, man. It's like it finally came.
I almost had the nuts today. I went light too. If I would have went normal, it would have been good. Like I almost had the nuts. Yeah. Like I had Walker, I had Simmons, I had Millsap, I had Hardaway, but I had Fox. If I play Murray from Denver, play Murray from Denver over Fox, and I leave Klay Thompson in like a donkey, I went to Russell like a fucking donkey. Oh no, I can't curse. Like a donkey, I went to Russell because I had the extra money. I should have just stayed with Klay. Klay scored, I think, 32. Russell only got 21.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was just hoping that Russell would be back better, like be more himself today, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
If I didn't play Hardaway, he was going to go off.
You did.
That's how it goes.
You did. You said we were all talking in the chat, and we were like, "This is Tim Hardaway Jr. Day, right?" And like you said, you were like, "Yeah, it definitely is," and I can tell you that it definitely is because I'm not playing him today. So, so you said you were in total agreement, and he did. Big day for the Knicks in general. Him and KP went nuts. Kemba finally had a ceiling game. I mean, wow. 60 FanDuel points, 62 FanDuel points. It finally happened.
When he plays Orlando, you play him.
That's what I was just going to say.
Dude matches Orlando.
Yeah. Who doesn't match Orlando, bro? Like, they have no defense, man. They got no defense. But Kemba, you're right, though. Kemba has a
My boy just told me their number one defense bar position versus point guard, which is not true. It's just the matchup so far.
I was going to say. That's...
that's not true.
All right, now I'm warmed up. We're about 7.5 minutes in. I think now we can finally talk about this next slate. I just had to get the switch on because, I don't do the basketball show for a couple days, so I got to talk about basketball, remind myself what's going on, and then I'm all warmed up. So I'm ready for you guys. TC, no spoiler alerts. No spoiler alerts. Our boy Cash, after he does this show, he has it recorded. He's going to go back and watch. So no spoiler alerts.
I won't say anything, but all I'm going to say is wow. That's it. That's all I'll say, but wow. That was one of the most impressive things I've seen.
So the Yankees won? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to save it for Cash. I'm just trying to save it for
Babyface Yankees came in from nowhere.
Yeah,
just took over.
Aliens came, and it was a crazy game, Cash. I'm just kidding. All right, guys, let's dig it in. We're going to break it down by tier again. So we're going to do, like, expensive, like, pay up, settle, and then pay down. Like, we're going to go position by position. Either site's fine. Just please specify which site you're referring to, whichever one you're checking. But we're going to start with point guards here. TC, I'm going to have you go first. If you decide to pay up at point guard tomorrow, who are some of the guys you think stand out to you?
Paying up-wise, probably Lillard. Let's see if I can find the totals real quick for that game. Yeah, it's 215.5. Supposed to be a close game. They're playing at home. I don't like Steph tomorrow just because of the matchup. Kyrie, I don't mind at all. It's a low-scoring game. So on FanDuel, unless I'm trying to save money, which is $1,100 difference. But unless I'm trying to save money, I'm probably going to go to Lillard just because of the higher total there. It's 20-point difference. So, and I don't really think I can throw anybody else in the high tier. I kind of put it just Steph, Lillard, Kyrie on FanDuel. And out of those three, it's probably just going to be Lillard. I don't like Steph's matchup. Kyrie's definitely in play, but just right now, going off totals alone, it's Lillard.
Gotcha. Cash, what about you, man? If you're paying up at point guard tomorrow, who are the guys for you?
There is no guys. There's one guy. That's Damian Lillard. That's it. No other guys.
Dame. All in a Dame. What is Dame? Dame's 8-7 on DraftKings, 9-3 on FanDuel. Whew. But he gets a matchup against Lowry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily play him, but if I was going to play an expensive guy, he would be the one.
No, I know.
Exactly.
Like he's your standout guy. Like Curry's going to have some Beverly defense, plus he's on the back end of a back-to-back. Did have a pretty good game today shooting. It looks like, is Chris Paul a game-time decision? He might come back?
I saw he was a game-time decision, but I didn't look into it to see how likely he was.
Okay,
Great.
Gotcha.
So that means he's going to play. And I'm going to be the a-hole that I am, and I'm going to play Harden again. He's going to go out and get me 30. It's going to be great. Can't wait.
That's a great point. I'm going to save Harden for shooting guards, but I can't. I'm excited to talk about him. I mean, normally it's like, oh, it's Harden, Westbrook. Nobody likes to talk about them. You know what it is. They're expensive. You know what they do, play them. But like, I actually do want to talk about Harden when we get there. So, all right, let's break it down. I think I'm with you. I don't think I want Kyrie against San Antonio. Just the pace not attractive there. But at 8-2, maybe. One thing that I think you guys will agree on, are we all on the fade Kemba train? Look, we know about his home and road splits. It's a back end of a back-to-back. On the road, he just had a ceiling game. Like, I personally am not going to be playing any Kemba today.
I'm not going to have any Kemba.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever play Kemba unless he's playing the Magic. Unless he starts playing well, because he's been playing terrible.
Yes, agreed. All right, TC.
I'll play him in Orlando, too.
Oh, yeah. In Orlando is fine. Anytime against the Magic. Is that right, Cash?
Exactly.
Gotcha. TC, talk to me about this mid-tier now that I got it started with old boy Kemba.
Yeah, like we said, I don't think I'm going to have any Kemba. Ricky Rubio, 7,800. I don't really love him at all. I never really enjoy playing Rubio, but at that price, I don't think it's unimaginable that he hits value. But in this mid-tier, it's probably going to be Drew Holiday and Lowry for me. Depending on how far we want to go down in mid-tier, I don't mind Smith. It's just at 6,300 on FanDuel. I'm really not too confident in the value there. He showed the upside and the ability to hit you like a 5x, but and he has the ability to hit 7 or 8x, but I just don't know if he's been consistently playing how I would like it. So this mid-tier, I'll probably try to stick around like a Lowry or Drew Holiday. Conley is, just because of his ability, I know the offense is not one that suits him right now, but for 7,300 and a guy with that kind of ability, it's enticing, but I just, until I see something more out of him, I don't think I can really pay that. So mid-tier, it's probably going to be Lowry, Drew Holiday, one of those two, maybe both.
Gotcha. Cash, what are your thoughts on this mid-tier here and your boy Mike Conley?
I would like to grab that ugly-ass hair on his head and rip it out. I played him again versus Houston. Again. Dude got 19 fantasy points. Oh, my God. Do not play Mike Conley ever until he actually starts playing. Same as Kemba. Oh, I hate you. I hate you so much. And I've been a fan of Mike Conley. Like I like his game. But, I hate him.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry is my choice here. That's it. Are we going to what price? Like on FanDuel?
I mean,
6?
Yeah, you can take it down to 6. That's fine.
Okay, so it would be Kyle Lowry, 100. That's Dame defense. I love Dame defense. Drew Holiday? Hell no. AD's back. Boogie's back. No, sir. Y'all can have that. Y'all won't be getting value very often with that, so y'all can have it. That's not for me. Maybe Dragic, maybe, but nah, I don't know. Patrick Beverly and Kyle Lowry are my favorite, even though Patrick Beverly has been letting me down too. But I'm gonna play the minutes, so. You on mute. You on mute, bro.
My bad. So let's go back to Dragic real quick. So on first look, when I was briefly looking as you were talking, I didn't even look twice at Dragic. I just kind of skipped him because he hasn't really done anything this year. But the more I think about it, Jeff Teague is by far the worst defender, probably on that unit, right? Like Jimmy Butler and Wiggins are they play defense, and like Cat also. Cat's not a very good defender, but really. at the same time, if Whiteside is out, then there's no like huge threat. Like Cat does have a size advantage at least over James Johnson, and he's a little bigger than a guy like Kelly Olynyk. So like my point is, I can see a scenario at his price where it kind of funnels to him, and he's forced to take more shots, or at least do something, drive to the hoop or something, like because like really Dragic hasn't had to. He's got guys like Josh Richardson and James John. All these guys are just chucking shots. Deion Waiters, like they're just chucking a bunch of shots. But if the defense is strong on some of those top options, I wouldn't mind in tournaments taking a chance on a guy like Dragic at 6'9". It's like it's not a great pace spot, but like once you actually mentioned his name, it just like, oh, Jeff Teague, it just popped into my head. He's gonna be playing Jeff Teague. Like, you know what I mean? So
well,
that's the reason I mentioned it. Oh,
right.
Go ahead.
In terms of pace, just kind of a fun thing here. It's actually out of what's listed, which the Houston game and the Golden State game isn't listed, but it's so far the second highest scoring total on the night.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. 216.5 over under.
Yeah, I don't even look at that yet. But the reason I like it is because Dragic can take over the game,
right?
If he wants to.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's wanted to.
No, he hasn't had to.
He's played 36 and 37 minutes the last two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only 6.9, so he can bust through that price.
I think so too.
Defense at home,
yeah.
And especially if it becomes a shootout, he can bust through that.
Yeah.
Duke can go get you 50.
I totally agree.
If he's motivated.
I totally agree. And he's home. He's got a great matchup against Jeff Teague. You're going to have Butler and Wiggins, one of those guys, on Waiters, on Richardson, on James Johnson. Will have some cat defense or something. They're going to have, these guys are going to be covered. So the only guy, he might be forced, like you said, Cash. It might be time for him to step it up. He might have to. I think you're right. I think the only reason he hasn't done it is because he hasn't really had to. And, that and bad matchups. But, this is a phenomenal matchup against Jeff Teague. So, the minutes are there, man. He's 6'5" on DraftKings, so, he's cheap on both sides. In tournaments, I think he's a guy that could... We know what his ceiling is from last year, man. We know this guy can do it. So, anyway. All right, TC, talk to me about the lower tier point guards, if any, that appeal to you on first look.
First look, not too many really appeal too much to me. Point guard is kind of rough tomorrow for where I want to go, but I don't hate either Murray's. DeJounte, I kind of like more out of the two at 5,300, and I wouldn't mind just because of price and skill level, which I don't really know why it's that cheap. Maybe there's some big news that I don't know about, but with Moutier at 3,600 on FanDuel, I don't love it, but that's only 17 to get you 5x. So not even that, 16. So I don't know why he's that cheap. Maybe I know he hasn't been balling out or anything by any means, but at the same time, with a guy with his skill set to get you mid-teens and still hit a decent value, I don't mind that play if you're going to just punt point guard and go way down. But really, those are the only three guys for me.
Gotcha. Cash, talk to me about this value tier. I like. Oh, he got a little smirk on. See that? Oh, he's got something to say.
I just looked at Mario Chalmers. Maybe we should be starting Mario Chalmers and sitting Conley on the bench. Mr. Overpaid Mo.
He is. He's making a lot of money. His contract is huge.
Yeah, and he's doing nothing for me except losing me money. Jamal Murray, I really like. In the Garden, this is a kid that I feel wants to show out when the lights come on. He wants to show out. Dude went off today. Went off. That's in Brooklyn. Hey man, that's the lights too. It's just across the river. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. This is a kid that I just think when the big lights come on, he's ready to go. But he could go out and get you 8. What else? Jarrett Jack. Oh God, y'all can have all that. I can't stand him.
Yo, Cash, maybe you know what's up with Murray. Why is Murray only getting 20 minutes all of a sudden?
Which Jamal Murray you talking about?
No. Or DeJounte.
I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't been playing great, but Patty Mills Patty Mills didn't. What did Patty Mills do the last game? Because he got 20 the last game too. I know Patty Mills was playing better against Orlando. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He got 20 minutes. He got 25 minutes against Miami, 20 minutes against Orlando, and 27 against Indiana. I think it was today. Was it today? Yeah, 29th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was the early game.
Right.
I don't know, but I don't want to go there because he's fallen off some. Like I was riding him first few games, and I liked him in Orlando. Man.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
He wasn't as bad as my other Murray in my Murray and Murray stack. but he wasn't good either. I mean, he only got 21, and Murray from Denver got 8.
All right, I gotta ask you about right below Murray on FanDuel. I know that's where you're looking. Jameer Nelson, 4-4. We saw him come in. He got 30 minutes 2 games in a row. He crushed one of these games, and then against Cleveland, he got 18 minutes and did nothing. Literally zero actual points. Like, I mean, look, my concerns. I am truly, truly concerned that New Orleans is going to just blow out your Magic tomorrow. I'm really concerned. It's a back-to-back. You know, they played a hard game today. They came down to the wire. The Dwight Howard, they were banging it out. Like, solid game. But, like, now they're traveling and they're going to go see Boogie and AD. And, like, I am really, really worried. Like, would something like that be good for Jameer Nelson? Because I do think I want to take more point guards against the Magic. Because I think, like you said, I think some of the DVP may say the Magic aren't as bad against point guards. But, like, I think, like you said before the show, I think it's more of a matchup thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they're not terrible.
Right, they're not great. They're still middle of the road.
One.
They're middle of the road, but like,
yeah.
In general, the team's not a great defensive team, so it seems like maybe more of a matchup thing. They haven't really played too many of those. Because, like, look what Kemba did today. I mean, Kemba just went, you know, it was like, you know, he's a real one of those scoring point guards, got to take over the game. So talk to me, what are your thoughts here on that game? And Jameer Nelson at 4-4 on FanDuel. And I'm sure he's something like that on DraftKings too, because 4-6 on. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a revenge game for him. He played almost his whole career in Orlando. And it's DJ Augustine, which is another small dude like him, so it's a much better matchup for him. I thought he was going to be good versus Cleveland, but he was not. But it's at home. I expect him to be much better than he was versus Cleveland versus bigger guys. But I don't know. I mean, how do I pay $300 less for him when I got Murray against the Knicks? Like, I can't do that.
Understood. Any other value guys, or should we move it over to shooting guard?
I mean, JJ Barea, he's an option all the time, and Moutier. And Patty Mills. If Patty Mills is going to play more minutes, Patty Mills can go off.
Yeah,
we know that. We've seen that.
He can, but he's like really not a point per minute kind of guy. Like he's like so bad point per minute. It's just once in a while he'll have his games where he just kind of takes over and he's running the offense. But we got to see it.
It hasn't happened this year yet.
Right. It hasn't happened this year. Exactly. All right, let's move it on over to the shooting guard position. TC, start us off with the shooting guards. This is the part where we get to talk a little bit about James Harden. So I'll let each of you talk about Harden, and if you don't say what I was hoping that we discussed, then we'll go back to Harden after you guys are done. But top tier, if you're paying up for point guards, we'll go all the way down to McCollum. So McCollum is 7.7 or DeRozan 8.3, Harden 11K. Those are FanDuel pricing. TC, if you're paying up for one of these guys or any of these guys, who is it?
Cash game wise, I am going to go Harden. GPPs, I'm not going to have any Harden, at least as of right now. I just don't know about usage wise, and he's obviously going to get his shots. The usage isn't really shot wise. I just don't know assist wise, and I don't know. I just don't like that with Paul possibly coming back, even though I think it does set him up a little bit better playing off the ball. But at the same time, McCollum has been playing well for me. Hasn't exactly blown the roof off yet, but he has consistently put up points that I'm happy with. DeRozan, I can get behind it, but at the same time, I think high price wise, McCollum is in as good of a spot as DeRozan is, and it's going to save me $600.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Cash, what are your thoughts if you're paying up at shooting guard? Any of these guys?
James Harden can go eat it. And I think DeRozan will be my favorite here, and I'm not a fan of DeRozan. I rarely ever play him, but it's CJ McCollum. And I like what I've seen recently. Like he's grabbing some boards, he's getting some assists, but the steals is what I like. Last 3 games, 3, 6, and 3 steals. I mean, on FanDuel, that's big. That's big now. So I do like that. It's going to be a high-paced game. The Portland game made me money the other night. It was my Phoenix Portland. I stacked it up. It was good to me. Portland is usually good to me when I stack that game up. So he would be my favorite. I like him over McCollum because I like Dame over McCollum today. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense when you look at it from that perspective. That is a good point because you don't necessarily. There's not maybe on a raw point slate, which this is not. This is 9 games, so there's plenty of games to look for your 6x and get your exposure elsewhere. But like if it was a raw point slate, then I can see playing McCollum and Dame together. But for the most part, we don't typically want to play them together on a big slate, right? Because one of them is usually because we want one of them to really eat. We don't want them both to have 40. We want one of them to put up 60. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense. DeRozan is a much better defender than Lowry. You know, I think that's a given. You know, I think we would all agree there. We saw even last year with the DVPs. I mean, don't get me wrong. McCollum isn't a terrible defender. Like he hustles, he tries. But like DeRozan, he's got size, man. He's a lot stronger than people give him credit for. He's got reach, man. DeRozan is like lanky. Like he can reach. You know what I mean? So
CJ McCollum can try all he wants. He sucks at defense.
He tries,
can try as hard as he wants.
He tries though. So it's funny because both of you guys seem to be off James Harden, and I first look I am too. We haven't seen him break 60 yet. So it's like, you know, to pay 11, if we're looking for 6x, that means at 11K on FanDuel, you need him to get 66, and he hasn't proven us he can get up there yet. And now Chris Paul might come back. So for GPP, yeah, we can look, okay, Chris Paul's back, people are off of him. I get it if Harden's low owned. My thing is, isn't Philly the team that Harden dropped like a crazy score against last year? Didn't he put up like 80?
Got almost 100.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
Yes, it was against Philly, and now they're home, and he just went to Philly. He was good, but he played 41 minutes. He earned that 50 points the hard way. He got 50 something points against Philly, like FanDuel points, but he played 41 minutes that game. Like it wasn't like you know what I'm saying. So
like I said, we're versus in point guard. If Chris Paul plays, then I'm gonna have me some Harden. If Chris Paul doesn't play, I'm not gonna have Harden
because he'll be popular and he's expensive and you know he hasn't even shown us. So there's too many reasons to fade him if he's going to be chalk. But if you can take advantage of getting Harden at low ownership, then you don't want to let that go.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And same thing with cash games. If you can get him at high ownership, it's really not a bad play there. But at the same time, yeah, you can hedge him because he'll be high owned, and if he doesn't hit value, but at the same time, it's so expensive. Are you going to have to go down so far? Like, are you going to not be able to play any other studs in your cash lineup, or at least not any like top tier guys?
Right.
So it's interesting in cash games how you'd want to construct it, but he's in play there. But yeah, like exactly like Cash is like, and you said GPP wise, unless you're going to get him at a low ownership, and even then, I don't know if I could really justify that.
Right. Right. It all depends on some of the other plays. Like it sounds like you guys like DeRozan a little bit even. So if there's already another guy that you like, it'd be hard to pull the trigger on that price tag, considering the production he's gotten. But again, you know, I think we could all agree that if his ownership for some reason drops, definitely a load up spot. TC, talk to us about the mid-tier shooting guard.
Okay.
Yo, Cash, you look like about to explode, bro. You good?
That's what I was looking at.
I just looked at what Jeremy Lamb did today. I played Jeremy Lamb in my Orlando-Charlotte game.
Me too, and I didn't do it. I took him out last minute.
God.
I wussed out. Oh my god, he mashed.
Oh,
he mashed. All right,
I would have had him and Hardaway Jr. at shooting guard.
I know. I dropped the ball too. I had Hardaway. I didn't have. I don't even want to talk about it. TC, what's the mid tier like, man? Tell us what the mid tier is like.
Yeah, Clay. I do like Clay at 6,900. If he heats up, which he's more, if Curry's going to be getting guarded by Beverly and he has to slow down, I don't think it's too unimaginable to see that Clay is just firing away off the pass. Smart is interesting at 6,400, but I just don't think that I'm that confident that he's going to hit mid 30s or 40s. But that price to be able to let you spend up elsewhere is kind of interesting. Wiggins for 62, I don't mind that play at all, just because I don't think it's too hard for him to hit 30, which is going to be 5x. But Lamb at 65, I know he just exploded, which is probably going to boost up his ownership tomorrow. But needing, almost 40 points to hit you 5x tomorrow, like 38 points, I'm probably going to be off of him. Depending on how far we're going to go down. Barton just burned me today, but 5,500 for him, I think, is in play. And I'll kind of stop there for mid-tier.
Okay, fair enough. Cash, what about you? Anybody in this mid-tier appeal to you?
I don't play Clay on the road ever.
Even with
what?
Even with Clay, possible or not Clay, but Steph being slowed down, you don't think that he'll try to pick up some of the slack?
No, I mean it's just a thing I don't do. Like I'm not saying it's a bad play, but yeah, I just don't do it. Like he doesn't shoot as well on the road. I don't ever do it. He just doesn't. He's like DeRozan. He just doesn't do nothing. But DeRozan is actually doing more. Like all he does is score points. So hell no. I mean, have you looked at Jeremy Lamb's games? Have you watched it? Have you watched him lately? I mean,
yes and no, not all the way. But still, at the same time, like, do you think that that you have a confident floor of 40 from him?
I don't like the matchup, and I wish it was a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Like maybe like a 6-1. But yeah, I mean, I would play him over Clay. At least he's gonna rebound the basketball.
Yeah, true.
Andrew Wiggins, I just like. I would play Lamb over Wiggins because Wiggins is another guy like Clay that does nothing. All he does is score points. That's it. No rebounds, no assists, no nothing. Like it's just nothing. It's just if he's gonna get me 30 points, then he's good. If he's gonna get me 15, 20 points, then I don't think he's gonna hit value because he's gonna get 2 rebounds, 1 assist, maybe a block, a steal. I just don't play those guys.
Let me ask you this: who do you think? And this is like I'm interested in what you have to say here. Who do you think has a better chance of hitting like 5 or 6x?
Out of who?
Out of those 3, out of Wiggins, Lamb, and Clay.
I would say what X? 5X?
Like let's just go 5x, like for a cash game value wise.
5X, I would say Lamb. 7X, I would say Wiggins.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I mean, he has upside, but just not. Yeah.
You want to take him in a spot where you feel like he has a better chance of making those shots that he's going to take. That's the thing. If he's not making a shot, you're not getting shit from him. That's basically right.
Yes.
Like he's scoring dependent. That's more or less guys that scare us with floors. But unless but like Lamb rebounds, Lamb assists, like Lamb does other things. So like his floor is naturally higher. But I would agree. TC,
and his team is not as good either.
Right.
He doesn't have as good of pieces around him.
Right. Yeah, they're banged up. They're pretty damn thin.
I like Gary Harris.
Yeah.
What?
I
like Gary Harris in New York with the minutes. Like he's getting the minutes and he's finally starting to do it. Like he's finally starting to come around, be aggressive, take his shot. I like that because I know I'm gonna get a floor of at least 30 minutes, and it should be higher.
Yeah.
He normally plays over 30, but that's like his floor minutes. Unless it's some crazy foul.
Right. I think this could be. I know Barton didn't do well today. I know TC burned you a little bit, but I think this could be a Will Barton game. I could see this game
a little bit.
I could see that a little bit. But I can see like look at the total. Like that total looks low for these two teams playing. They're both on back ends of playing in back to back. So I get it. But like I think we can expect I'm probably off of the starters except for Gary Harris because he plays so many minutes. Gary Harris is the only starter that I think I might have interest in. But like Will Barton coming off the bench, just the Knicks second unit. I mean, come on, it's like you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, so like Barton, obviously, like that's his position, and like unfortunately, Barton is another GPP only kind of guy because he has no floor. We saw his floor today, 8. That was his floor. So, but for GPPs, I think
you could do like TC said and play Harris and Cash and Barton and GPP,
right? Yes.
Or you could just make the same GPP lineup and flip flop them because they're the exact same price.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's definitely a good point. Talk to me, guys, both of you. What about Tyreek Evans, man? Like I keep not playing him. Like on FanDuel he's 5'2", which is like a little, and like, but on DraftKings I think he's 4'9", which like anything under 5, just to my eyes, it looks good. I like seeing things under 5. Yeah. So like when I see Tyreek Evans, shooting guard, small forward, eligible at 4'9" on DraftKings, like, and 5'2" on FanDuel is a bit of a stretch considering we know he's not a big minute guy. But I mean, the production has been there, like, and he's another one, right, Cass? Like, he does everything. He rebounds, he assists, he's very involved. He doesn't just stand there and shoot, right? But he does take his shots at the same time. Talk to me, both of you, about Tyreek Evans. TCU first, and then Cash. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for the price that he's at, he's definitely in play. He doesn't quite have a crazy high ceiling, but I've played him a few times this year, and he's consistently got me around the value that I'm happy to get with that kind of a price. Like anytime I go below 5K, like I want to hopefully, like it's either going to be one of two things. It's going to be a guy that I think doesn't have quite the upside, but that I can count on getting me, upper 4 to 5X, like just to kind of hold that spot down for cheap, or it's a flyer that's either going to get me 0 or 60. So a guy with him, like he's not necessarily in that flyer. Like he's a guy that you can plug in and at least know that you're going to get a decent score from him. You're not going to risk getting a dud unless something stupid happens. And really, if you're going to go down to this far, like he can do so many different things for you stat wise. And really the only other shooting guard that I would look at, like at that price, like if you're going to go down to there, like even though Cash and I have had multiple conversations about this guy and how the coach uses him, but like Sweet Lou would be kind of the only other guy I would look at down here in this range. And I love him because the guy can just explode, but at the same time, you're not sure how he's going to be used. So if you're going to go down to that range, I think Evans is perfectly fine. I just don't think you should hope for a huge explosion game, but I think you can feel pretty safe that he's going to get you at least a decent return.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Cash, what are your thoughts on Evans?
Well, in 6 games, I count my values within 2 points. If you get within 2 points of what you're supposed to get, you got value. So in 6 games, he got 23.8. So that's within 2 of his price at 5X. So out of 6 games, he's gotten 4 times value or more and 2 times under with his lowest 17. So I would say his ceiling is 35. Like his best game, he's going to get you 35. So that's not going to explode through his price. But I mean, if you got them, if you like say you made your whole lineup and you love it, and you got 5-2 left, like you can't get up to Harris or Barton, he's an option. But so is Wesley Matthews right above him. But that's against Utah and Utah. So I don't want that. He's been playing a little better now, but just the minutes. I go to guys that got minutes, but I'm not gonna go there. Like I would go Evans over him all day.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Like you're not expecting him to win you. This is what I say this a few times. Like there's guys you got to put in your lineup that's not gonna win you the tournament. Like they're not gonna win it for you, but they're not gonna lose it for you. You got to have some of those guys in there. Like you can't fill your roster with guys that are just gonna go off and win you the slate.
Yeah, because not all of them will. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Not all of them will. Yeah, that's a good point. TC, talk to me about the value shooting guards.
Oh my God.
Really, for me, it's Evans and, like I said, Sweet Lou at 4,600. He brought up what?
I was gonna say, is that about as low as you're probably gonna go?
Yeah, probably just because I'm gonna, at least for me, and I might get into some cheaper guys like tomorrow, but like today, I'm kind of looking at more of an even roster construction, so I'm not really diving too deep. I think 4,600 is the cheapest I need to go, and that's just for like a flyer that like somebody like Luke can go in and hit a couple threes right off the bench, and then possibly, hopefully, if Doc's feeling all right, get a few more minutes and keep going. Wesley Matthews above him at 52, kind of like Cash said. Don't love the spot, but for a guy that's going to get you upper 20s to lower 30 minutes, I think it's pretty solid.
It's 40. It's going to get you 40 minutes.
Do you think that's a good floor, though? I was thinking a floor of minutes, like just worst case scenario, like 30 minutes.
Worst case scenario this year has been 30 minutes and a few 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think that he's out of the realm at that cheap for those minutes, but at the same time, for me, it'd be Lou Williams.
Gotcha.
I mean, the elephant in the room is Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, how popular is he going to be today?
Oh yeah, I don't want anything to do with him tomorrow. I don't want
guys.
You play Hardaway Jr. if you're making a cash lineup. You put him in there.
Oh, 100%.
He's going to be. It's going to be through the roof.
I agree.
If I talk about him and I say he's going to have a good game, kind of like we talked about today, he's going to shit on everyone's parade. But if I just leave him alone and don't play him and everything, I'll let you guys win all the money, and I'll just, take a thank you every so often from you guys.
I don't want any Hardaway. I think Cash, you hit it right in the head. He's going to be so popular because of his performance today that you should play him in cash because they didn't adjust his price, any of that stuff. So I definitely for me, it's on GPPs, it's Fade City. I'm not relying on that.
Oh yeah.
It's his first.
I mean,
if you're, go ahead.
If you're making one lineup, yes, but if you're gonna make 10 GPP lineups, like you gotta at least put him in one or two because just in case, like if he's gonna be 40% owned in tournaments,
right?
Like I'm not saying he is, but what if he is?
Yeah.
And if he goes for another 50 and he's 40% owned, you might as well just close your phone, throw it out the window.
Yeah.
No,
that makes sense.
But at the same time, if he's that high owned, he's also not going to kill you if he goes out and gets a dud. I mean, you might not win, but at least you have a little bit of a hedge there. Because if he's 40, 60% owned and he throws a dud out, at least like LeBron, I think it was Saturday or Friday night when he got like 3x and got 33. He was so high owned that, it didn't really hurt you too bad in tournaments if you had him because everybody had him. And it was kind of down to the rest of your roster. But yeah, I'm completely with Cash. If you're going to have a lot of lineups or even a decent amount, throw them in a few. But at the same time, it's Fade City for me.
Yeah, I think
if I'm making one lineup, I get Little Herm in my head. When I'm making my lineup, I get Herm in there. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. You play to win the game. If I'm making one tournament lineup and I put Hardaway Jr. in there, I'm just a donkey. You should just kick me in my ass because I'm a donkey. Yeah. You're not playing to win the game if you put Tim Hardaway Jr. in one tournament lineup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I want nothing to do with the guy. He just scored 34 actual points or something like that. I want nothing to do with the guy.
Austin Rivers came off of that dislocated finger and actually scored some points, went off, almost got 40. He's going to play the minutes. His father's the coach. We got Sweet Lou Williams on the bench that's one of the best offensive players to ever grace the court. Dude could fill it up. And we're watching Austin Rivers play 35 minutes a night because it's his father on the sidelines. Doc, I wish
because he has solid fundamentals.
Solid fundamentals and a dislocated finger. TC, talk to us about some of the top tier small forwards. We got to start rolling here.
All right. KD, I like KD in this spot. 10-3, it's a little bit pricey for me just because like I said earlier, I'm going to try to halfway stay around a decently even build for most of the lineups. Fournier, I mentioned this in the staff chat. I like him. The dude's been producing, but it's just a matter of time until he is 30% owned and then drops a 15. So I like him. I don't mind the spot either, but at the same time, it's a high scoring game and I'm going to have some of them, but I'm not in love with it just because I'm going caution to the wind here because he's been playing so well. We'll go down to 6'2", Gallinari. I like Gallinari, but he's kind of like a Fournier, not on the same level as Fournier, But at the same time, like if his shot isn't falling, you're not going to hit value. I mean, it's as easy as that. Butler 8K is actually interesting to me there, just because we've seen him over his entire career. He has the potential to blow up for you, and I think 8K is reasonable to play him there. And I think with the guys like Durant above him, and then going down like Fournier and Covington and whatnot below him, I don't think he's going to be too highly owned either. And kind of like at the beginning of the show, when I said that's the second, as of what's reported, second highest game right now, and it's going to be a close game. I don't mind Butler. Covington, I'm going to stay away from. So it'll probably be the majority of my lineups probably have Butler and Durant rotating in them. And then if I'm going to go to this like mid to high tier, it's going to be Fournier and Gallinari kind of taking the slack with mainly probably Gallinari and GPPs, just because I think he'll go a lot under-owned than Fournier.
Okay. Cash, what about you? If you're paying up a small forward, who is it?
Tough. I expect Golden State to be pissed off. They just lost to Detroit at home, and Detroit was coming in on a back-to-back. I expect them to be pissed off. But, I mean, at 10-3, do I want to pay 10-3 for KD? I don't know. I'm not sure right now. I don't think so. Evan Fournier, he'd probably be my high. Like, I would like him over Durant. Gallinari is the minutes, but he's not been showing it to me. But he got a high minute floor. All these Clipper starters do. I don't like this position, man. Like, I'm going down. No. Maybe Trevor Ariza. Maybe Evan Turner in that game I like. Maybe Mo Harkless in that game I like. No on Ariza. I mean, just no. Jonathan Simmons. Yeah, this is an ugly position.
Yeah, it's definitely an ugly position. I think that we could agree there. What about if we want to go? You know, one thing that's interesting I'll say about KD real quick. What's his name? Who is the defender? I can't think of this guy's. I always forget this guy's name, and it's a unique name too. He was on the Clippers last year. He would cover KD all the time when they played.
Mamute?
Yes, Mamute. That dude is a phenomenal defender. Yeah, I was just going to say, and he is gone. So anybody that looks up how Kevin Durant played against the Clippers last year, the numbers are probably going to be a little skewed. That dude is gone, and that dude is a
You don't remember that, CK? Like, that's why me and TC was arguing about Simmons. Because I was like, Mamute is going to guard his ass.
Yeah. Yes, that dude is very, very good. I know. I just couldn't think of his. I always forget his name, and it's a unique name. I don't know how I keep forgetting, but like it's going to be interesting to see how Kevin Durant does against this team without him.
It's Gallo.
It's Gallo, yes. With Gallo instead. So I think KD could potentially eat, but he is expensive though. He's up there. TC, talk to me about
looking at the position. It makes me like KD more.
Right, because it's so weak. Right?
Yeah,
and if you have to fill 2 spots on FanDuel, you know you might as well plug them in one. It's that weak. TC, are there any value guys here, or do we pretty much cover all the guys?
All right. One guy sticks out to me as like the ultimate flyer there, just because he's been so inconsistent this year, up and down. Dylan Brooks at 3,700. The guy has hurt me a lot more than he's helped me, and he is really like dependent on scoring. But at the same time, for 3,700 in such an ugly position, if you're going to make a lot of lineups, I'm going to throw him into at least 1 or 2 of them. I don't hate Rudy Gay at 5,400. I don't like him. I have yet to play him this year, but he's been showing up better than what I thought he would. So at 5,400, but at the same time, I don't think that his ceiling's high enough for me if I'm going to pay up there. Because at the same time, I think Dylan Brooks has a higher ceiling, but Rudy Gay has a higher floor. So I think tournament-wise, it'd be Brooks for me. But that's really the only 2 guys lower. You could kind of talk about Harrison Barnes, but I like him more than Rudy Gay. But way down value-wise, it's pretty much Dylan Brooks or bust for me.
You had me at Dylan Brooks on FanDuel. He's 3.7. He's 3.7?
Yeah.
He's going to play at least 20 minutes. He's 3.7. He's going to take shots. That's all he does. Cash, any value guys?
He knows how to do.
I might play Ennis over him.
Ooh.
Really?
Ennis has been taking his minutes away. I mean, it doesn't have the upside. I mean, Brooks has the higher upside, but oh man, that guy. When I was all in on him, he got me like 5, whatever that was. It was 5. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, dude. Like you get me a 5 when I'm all in, like, oh my god.
You'll feel some type of way about that.
CJ Miles in that fast-paced game, dude can bust him. Dude gets hot. Yeah. You can bust them up. You can bust right through that price. And Tabo. That was a damn, no. Damn him.
Damn Tabo.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, be Alicia in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's true. He's definitely hit or miss, but when he gets his time to play, he's a big point per minute guy. He does it all.
He wasn't in the rotation the last game, but he was in there before that.
Yeah.
He's only 3,000.
Yeah. All right, let's move it on over to power forwards. TC, talk to me about the power forwards. We'll merge the mid tier and the top tier, and we'll just talk about value separately. So just talk about the top and the mid tiers and power forward.
All right. AD obviously 11-7. Granted, who knows if he's going to stay on the court? Who knows if he's going to break a toe or something and be out for the next month? So he's obviously the best play there. Well, I don't know. You could kind of argue that Griffin at 9,500 is just as good, if not a better play, just because of how it's going straight through Griffin. Like if you've watched the Clippers games, they are basing their entire offense around Griffin. Then we're going to get to like the guy that I won some pride off of with Mr. Ben Simmons. I don't think I'm going to take any bets on him tomorrow. I just 9,300 for him. I don't hate it, but on the road against Houston, I don't really want to do that. Porzingis 8,900, I think is way too cheap for Porzingis. So that's where I'll probably be at with most of mine. Going right down the list to LMA Aldridge. I do like him, but I haven't. I know everyone's saying that they don't think he'll be in, but have we heard for sure? I should have asked this at the other position, but is Kawhi for sure going to be out? Because what I was reading was that he was listed as doubtful, but there was a chance he was going to.
What's that?
Have we heard 100% if Kawhi's out? Because I was reading a thing earlier and it said that he was doubtful, but there was a chance he was going to play. And that kind of changes the whole outlook on Aldridge if Kawhi's in. Granted, if he's in, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets really low minutes just to kind of work him back in. But at the same time, like that completely changes my outlook on him.
Yeah, no, definitely. That certainly would. Cash, talk to me about the expensive and mid-tier small forwards. I'm sorry, power forwards. My bad.
I don't know if I don't want Blake Griffin at that price with Draymond. Kristaps, I don't want that after his big game with Paul Millsap. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Do you think Millsap can stay with him? That's interesting because I never thought about Millsap.
Millsap is a very good defender.
Yeah, but I just didn't think he was going to be quick enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when he was in the Hawks last year,
Millsap
they had
could get out and guard LeBron.
Yeah,
when they was in Atlanta and they played Cleveland in the playoffs, he would get out at half court and guard LeBron. It's not a smart decision, obviously. It blew my mind every time I watched it. I thought it was so stupid, but he would, which is dumb. But yeah, he can guard Kristaps. But Kristaps is a lot longer, so he can still get up and get the rebounds. James Johnson might be my favorite towards the top. Aaron Gordon. Oh man, yeah. I don't want to pay for none of those guys up there, except AD maybe, but he's so expensive. James Johnson, like he's gonna have to play minutes versus that big front court of Minnesota.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He'll just use kickboxing to knock guys out of his way.
Al-Farouq Aminu, what was that on Saturday? I loved him, dude. I was like, okay, at halftime he had 29 fantasy points. Yeah. I was like, yeah, let's go. In the second half, he had 2 fantasy points. Yeah,
that is so weird when that happens. TC, talk to me about the value power forwards.
All right, Ed Davis, I still think is priced too low. Low ceiling, but saying that he only needs to get you like 22 points, I think it is, to hit 5x. I'll take that for 4,400. A guy that I don't want to say I'm certain is going to hit value, but a guy that I can have a decent amount of confidence in for that low of a price. I didn't go down that far on my initial guys, but like Cash said, Nectad at 6,700. I like Ed Davis, though. It's just the more I keep looking at it, the more I like him at that price. Saric at 3,700. He's always going to be in some of my lineups, and it's not even necessarily as long as I'm making a decent amount of lineups, he'll be in. Not necessarily because I like any of his spots or anything, but the dude showed so much upside last year that I think it's just a matter of getting him at the right time. He's not that consistent this year, but I think if he gets the minutes and he starts playing the way that he did last year, which is kind of hard with all these guys kind of back. Last year, it seemed like they kind of leaned on him in some situations. Now they don't really need to do that. But at 3,700 for a flyer and a GPP, I don't mind it. But at the same time, paying like $700 more to go up to Ed Davis, who doesn't have quite as high of a ceiling, but has a lot higher of a floor, for me, would be kind of the guy that I would go with at value.
Yeah, okay, I think that makes sense. What about you, Kaz? What are your thoughts on the value power forwards?
You see what Marvin Williams did today?
No, I heard you talk about him, and I didn't even look. After you said you'd rather cut your extremities off than play him, I just...
Double, right?
Anytime anybody ever asks me if they should play Marvin Williams, I will always say I would rather chop it off than play him.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, like I was legitimately going to play him, but then like right when I hit enter, like it was hit 5 o'clock right then, and it said you can no longer submit entries. It's live in process or something like that. I was like, you son of a bitch, and that lineup like went to hell really fast.
He did go nutty, double. Keep in mind that was because Frank Kaminsky was out, I think.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Y'all play him. Go ahead. I hope everybody plays him. Because dude get an 8. He'll literally go out and get you 8 and play 35 minutes. It's unbelievable. Serge Ibaka is too cheap in this game. He hasn't been doing much, but he only needs to get you 26. So, yeah, I mean, he's an option. Like you said, Ed Davis, he's an option, but he's not going to play over 20 minutes, which sucks. But he can get you there in that many minutes. Yeah. Marvin Williams, you can just disappear because you will never, ever touch my lineup, ever. I would literally rather play a guy that's going to get me 0. Like, he's going to be out of the game and not play. I would put him in my lineup before I put him in my lineup. I'm not playing. Like, that's serious. Saric, again, price, too cheap. He started last game. And that's it.
Yeah.
Beasley, good old Beasley. Thank you, Jeff Hornacek, for taking Beasley just out of the NBA completely.
Didn't even play.
Dude,
worse than Jason
0.
Kidd.
Didn't even play.
I was so mad about that. Like, if we would have done this show at like 9 when we were going to my time, like I would have been on a rant for a good hour about that.
Oh, I bet. I can only imagine. TC, talk to us about the center position.
Oh, hold on, Josh Smith.
Smith.
Min Price, he just signed with New Orleans. Don't expect much, but yeah. He just signed. He's only $3,000.
Looks like he played 6 minutes against Cleveland.
Got a fantasy point a minute.
He did. 6.8 FanDuel points. There you go, baby. Min price. TC, talk to us.
Maybe he gets 15 minutes.
Maybe he gets 15 minutes. Maybe.
Okay. Sinners. I love Boogie, but once coming off that huge game and being at 12K, I'm not going to touch that. The Cat 9,800, you're kind of banking on a 50 spot from him. I think it's a good pivot from Boogie, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to touch him. I like Gasol a lot at 8,600. Valanciunas, I think he's doubtful for the game. If he plays at 5,800, like that could be just a smash spot for you if you're going to get a guy at 5,800 with his upside. If he's going to play and if he's all right to get close to a full workload. Gobert at 8,200, I can get behind, but that's only if you're going to play Rubio. That's it's pretty short side for me. Have we heard news on Whiteside? I was looking at that earlier too, and I don't know if you guys have read anything that I haven't, but he's questionable now.
I read that he's unlikely to play.
Unlikely? All right, I just heard questionable. That kind of takes him out. So yeah, it's a short list for me at center. Probably be a little bit of cap. Like the up at the top will be my least owned. It'll be a lot of Gasol and if he's available, Valanciunas.
Okay. Cash, talk to me about the center position.
Noel's playing. Noel's on the slate tomorrow.
It's different for me. Like, I wish Jokic would play more, but give me Boogie versus Vooch. Let me have that. I'll take my 60 and move on. Vooch can't guard him to save his life. They better put Bismack in the game because Boogie Cousins will eat Vucevic like a hamburger.
At the same time, if you say you're 60, are you all right with paying $12K to get 5x value? Do you think it's a night where you need?
Oh fuck yeah, hell yeah, that's what I want. If I'm paying $12,000 for a guy, I want 5x. If I'm paying $3,000 for a guy, I want 10x. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Give me 5x all day at 12,000, please. Better than Harden. Harden's gonna get you.
Aren't you
2.5x.
Aren't you gonna be concerned about the blowout here? Like, I can totally see them just dismantling them in the first half.
How is that? New Orleans sucks.
Yeah, but
they
dude,
suck.
But Orlando, listen, I hate to tell you this about your Magic, but they don't play any defense, man. they don't play
that's
defense.
What we want. That's what we want, right?
I agree, but like
no defense.
But like, I don't know, man. I just feel like
you think they're gonna be able to stop the Magic?
I do. Well, I don't think they'll stop, but I think they'll stop them enough to where
I think Boogie can keep up with Vooch. I think Boogie can follow him out there and cover him. I don't know about AD on Gordon. I think AD on
Boogie
Gordon
can eat Vooch like he's some fettuccine Alfredo. Boogie can eat him, like literally.
No, I'm talking about defensively.
No. I'm talking about all around.
Yeah, I know that, but that's my point.
The whole thing.
Like, what if he only plays like? You're not worried he's going to play 3 quarters because they're just going to dominate the Magic?
I don't see New Orleans blowing out nobody.
Okay. Makes me feel a little better about it then.
You think he'll be highly owned coming off that big game?
I think people have
I don't know. There's a lot of studs out there.
You know, it's funny because like the last time they were on, I was like, okay, one of these guys is going to be the chalk. I'm going to fade Boogie, play AD. Boom, AD got 60. I look over, so did Boogie. I think the contrarian build was playing them both.
Yeah, Boogie was only 7% that day.
Yes,
and AD was like 14 or 15.
Because
the thing about center is there's only one. So never ever, almost never. It's very slate dependent. I never worried about ownership on center because there's only one of them, and it's always deep. Like it is deep today. I'll take Boogie. I'll take Jokic. I'll take Gasol. I'll take Gobert. I'll take DeAndre. I can keep naming them. I would take Capella. I would take Horford. I would take Cantor. I mean, you want me to keep going down? Noel can go.
I love how we set this up with it's because I love him doing this.
Like I could play every single guy I just named. I could play them all tomorrow. Looking at it, first look, I could plug all them guys in. O'Quinn too. You don't know who it's going to be, O'Quinn or Cantor, but O'Quinn's only 4.3. Oh boy, if Whiteside ain't out, let me have Bam. I played him another day. Dude got me what I needed. Almost. He got 14.6. I only need 15. And that's a big front court. Give me this ugly big neck some. Give me Bam.
Fair enough. Guys, that's going to pretty much do it. I think Cash covered pretty much every center there. So I think we're good. But
Gasol might be my favorite, though. Like that offense, and it's versus Dwight. Dwight can get – you can hand it to Dwight. But yeah, I love Gobert too. If we're gonna play Dirk against Gobert, that's another fettuccine Alfredo.
Fettuccine Alfredo.
You're gonna play there.
Fettuccine Alfredo. Oh man! All right. Well, that's gonna do it for us today on the Wise Take DFS podcast. Hope you guys had a good time. Hope you had a good time as we did. We obviously like to have fun here. Do me a favor, guys. Head over to wisetake.com and check out our subscriptions to see some of the premium content. We got projections on the Wise Take model. We got live streams every Monday through Friday before lock to help guide you and help you react. We have a chat where you can always chat with other members in addition to the guys. We got a lot of really fun stuff.
I forgot one.
Uh-oh.
I'll play DeAndre Jordan too. Did you see what Drummond did to Golden State today? Yeah,
Yes.
I'll play DeAndre Jordan too. I forgot about him.
Yes, that's a good call. I think that's a very good call, actually. Other than that, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. That like button means a lot to us. Subscribe to the channel also means a lot. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow. If you're listening on iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Bump us up those charts. It means a lot to us, so do it. That's going to do it for us here. For TC, for Cash, and myself, and the entire Wise Take Nation. As always, good luck.
Yes.